All right. Good morning, Friday. Welcome to June 9th. Yeah, week is over basically. For those of you on the East Coast, it looks like the smog is finally lifting on us. I think we finally got a day that's not considered like super unhealthy. Um, it's been a weird couple days here, but anyway, we'll see how my voice holds up. My voice is definitely harsh, and I haven't even been going outside, so that's how much fun it is. But we got a notification. We the boys have a tournament this weekend, and they're like, "Yep, we told it's been, it's considered safe enough." It's like, okay, great, we're going with safe enough. So I don't know. We're supposed to get rain today, so hopefully the rain wipes the rest of the smog out, and we are on our way. But I know up north it's still a little bit crazy, so I know you're dealing with that. I feel your pain definitely. Um, Looking at the markets right now. Besides the not even the yen, but really besides the pound, um, not much else out there is moving. Right, you're seeing pound yen, the big guy right now at 106. You're seeing the pound dollar 67. You're seeing the euro pound. This is the highest percentage mover at minus 36, although starting to retrace just a little bit of a smidge, but that's the highest percentage right now out there. As far as news goes, again, we're still seeing a lot of this U.S. recession less likely. A lot more talk about. There's an interesting article right here talking about how the Fed's likely to skip, but it's going to be close. Um, I don't know. I'm still torn on this one. I still feel that they're going to do one more and then do it. But interestingly enough, look at this. Fed funds futures contracts are pricing in an 86 bip of interest rate cut by year end. Cut. Um, Again, I'm not exactly sure why the market keeps going towards that rate cut thing. Maybe everybody likes the volatility, but yeah, I'm kind of confused on that one too because everybody's been pretty clear they do not want to do any cuts. They want it to stabilize. They're going to hold it at restrictive level for quite some time. They're going to get it back down to the 2%. That there wouldn't be any rate cuts until deep next year. So it would be completely opposite of what we've heard to suddenly start doing cuts. So yeah, I mean, I don't know. In the next 6 months, are we cutting that much? I don't know. We're gonna wait. Oh, you know what? I forgot to do this. Giveaway 50. Sorry, I forgot. I know you guys are into that one. There we go. All right, so that's a lot going on. The data we just got a little while ago was the unemployment rate and unemployment change. Ticked up a little bit in CAD. We know CAD is already halting right now. Or actually, they just did the raise, so I'm pretty sure that their next one is already factored in as a halt, and that's pretty bold, right? Pretty bold that why it's doing that. Pretty bold that we got this surprise rate hike, and then all of a sudden today the data is as bad as it is. Again, it just goes to show you that just because they do something doesn't mean that the data is always going to kind of we don't. I guess the best way to say this is we don't always have all the data, right? We don't always have all the facts. That there's typically more out there, and I think this is proof of it. They knew what the unemployment rate and unemployment change was, but they still needed to do it because the inflation was too high and becoming a little bit more stagnant than they thought. And then at the same time, right, at the same time, um, we are getting, messages now, that again, there's a potential pause coming in effect here. Hold on one sec. Let's close this, close this. Just trying to shut things down here. That too. Sorry, got a couple windows open. So yeah, I mean, I'm not sure where people not only holding but then cutting. I think that's a very interesting take on there, and the fact that the futures market is preparing for that. God, why is it not? It's really stuck on something here. I'm not sure what it's stuck on, but we'll just hopefully. I don't know. It was like a smart money thing, so I don't think I have anything else up. Hold on, let me see. This could it be this one? God, that one. Uh, Sorry, I'm just trying to close the windows. I'm not sure why we're getting that pop up. Um, um, yeah, I don't know why. Not sure why. All right, we'll just go with it. Hopefully, I don't get any more. But anyway, so that's what we got. Tomorrow, nothing big. Sunday, nothing big. Obviously, Monday, we have I love it. The 12th through the 15th. Sometime we'll get their new loans. Sometime in between there. We have some bond auctions, and then we have obviously business confidence. So not a lot over this weekend as well. And we'll see as things continue to kind of base off. I do think this is an important story to start looking at. The BOJ is said to still see need to continue monetary stimulus. Again, that's why we're seeing some of the yen calls moving away. The the way that they are. You're seeing they're a little bit bigger than kind of what you would expect to see right now. But I think BOJ is again. I do feel that they are a little bit way too high right now. Again, 123 is not necessarily big, but we are getting in an area where we've heard a couple news stories this week mention intervention. I just feel that that is probably something that we need to really watch out for. When it comes in, don't know, right? No idea, but I do feel that it is on the way, so watch out for that. When it comes, again, that is not that does not qualify for parabolic retracement type moves. An intervention is a fundamental change in the market. It typically moves and then comes back at a slower pace. But it does take some time, a lot longer than like a day or two typically to retrace back again. And it is a fundamental change in the market that, reacts slightly differently because it is really, for lack of a better word, it is manipulation, but it's manipulation at the highest level. Um, and it's just one of those things that, again, it's not necessarily for a monetary gain. It's for, I guess, economic gain is probably the best. I don't know. Economic stabilization is probably the best way to explain it, but it is a little bit different. So, treat that as such. Right now, you can see the VIX maintaining low again, 13.64. No major news headlines. Again, if we're talking about cuts, this should really actually be lower than this. Um, but overall, we've seen it, deteriorate down again. There hasn't been really any horrible news necessarily. Um, to the point where it's like, oh god, this is just this is going to be bad. I think overall, again, the VIX is, I would say, justified. It's where it is right now. I think is where it should be. Again, market factoring cuts in means that they're absolutely convinced that they are done raising. As I said, I feel that the market had already factored a raise in, just one more 2.5. Especially with other nations doing it, I think the pressure will be on for the U.S. to do it. Um, but we are holding low right now. And again, being a Friday, I think it makes sense. And I think this is it's in the right spot. The dollar, again, we saw the big drop on Thursday yesterday, kind of pushing to the downside. You can see it took a little bit of a bounce off that level. We were looking for a little bit of a Harry Potter, didn't get it in this sense, but we were calling for price to come back down into lower levels. We'd mentioned the 103.50-ish range. You can three, we're 103.55. It bottomed down here at 103.30 and kind of found some buyers in there. I think this is, as I said, I don't think they're done raising, but at the same time, I don't think that a raise right now has the same type of shock. I think people are really starting to look at this as like, hey, listen, we're not going to kill the economy. The economy is much more resilient than what people have thought. Um, there was where is it? It's going to be close. Yellen, where is it? Again, Goldman talking about why U.S. recession has become less likely. Again, spending and everything else has been good. We know that manufacturing is down, but right now it doesn't look like we're tipping towards that rate. And again, could they be overly, optimistic? Sure, sure. And I think that's something to keep in mind. But for the most part, I don't disagree where the dollar is, and I think this is a good spot. Remember, 103 seems really low, but historically, this thing typically fluctuates between the 95 and 98 range. So we're still well above what we saw before kind of COVID and this whole crisis started. So, um, you know, I don't think there's, I don't know, I don't want to say this is the new norm, but again, being as high as we are right now, I know it feels like the dollar is just, oh my God, it's getting beaten up. But I mean, if you go back, I mean, even here, you know, here's all 101s. We spent all this time here, right? You go farther back than on a daily. I mean, we couldn't get above 98 to save our lives, right? So being at 103 is kind of amazing there. Now the indices minus the Russell, they're up pretty decent. It's definitely that feel good Friday mode out there. Up 142, up two, up one before 10 minutes into the market open. Um, Again, not a bad Friday. And again, whether it be a feel good Friday or just you know, kind of a, I don't know, reversal of negativity of anything else, right? That's what we're dealing with, right? As far as commodities go, right now, commodities look pretty good. You're seeing crude as well as natural gas both down. Crude is just down slightly, 0.07. Kind of hoping to see if we could push down in the 70s. Natural gas, 285, but excuse me. The reality is we're really at the same exact spot. We're at 228. We were like 230 the other day. I know that's a move. Is it a monstrous move? Not really. I still think too high, but that's what we're dealing with. This is where we're at right now with it. So there's nothing to really. What else is there to say? We're there. Now, interestingly enough, gold and silver are both down. You would assume if there was comments about, hey, listen, we're going to start, we're going to put a pause in, right? We're going to start pausing. And in fact, not only pause, we're going to drop interest rates by the end of the year. You would assume that that would be more of a pro gold type position where you'd start to see, inflation creeping back into the market. And I would agree that yes, if you think that we're at that stage and inflation is this high and we're going to start lowering interest rates, lowering interest rates is a kind of a way to help create inflation. You would assume that those would both be up, but that's not what we're seeing. We're actually seeing a little bit of a downtick today in that 1958 range. And then again, 24, 21, higher. We were playing with 23 last week, but as you can see, we're starting to have some issues up here and it's fighting and went a little bit higher, but at this point, it's almost set as a racetrack, and we'll cover that when we're there. And there's a big push, right? Imagine if today, Powell came on and was basically reaffirming that inflation is still way too high and it's not controlled. And we don't want to spend the next year with inflation this high. We don't want to make this a permanent, entrenched inflation. Um, all you need is kind of one or two statements like that, and this thing pops right back down again. And I think where it is right now, seeing kind of them both in the red being this high, I think this is a little bit overextended from yesterday's numbers. Okay. Now going into the Aussie dollar. All right, so Aussie dollar. We were talking about kind of a little bit of a move here. We didn't know where it was going to be on Wednesday, and you can see Thursday it kind of came up and based in that same area around 10:30, and a little bit of a pullback. So we were talking about a bit of a Harry Potter, and it kind of hit it and it hit it again, and then started the base in there, and then it eventually did go through. Again, pop here, and then it kind of popped up and kind of pulled back, and then pulled back again, and it's like, oh man. And then it started the base. You're like, it's gonna break, and then it did the final. It finally did do the Harry Potter. It just came on this side and then pushed up to the 76.34. And that's kind of where we're at right now. So let's clean these off just to get them out. Again, that alert is out. But it did end up using that zone and going higher. Now, where we're at now, looking back, just to refresh you guys, there's an area of sellers coming in again. This is a profit target first, kind of a very large zone, right? I mean, the wick goes all the way up to there. That's way too big of a zone. But we knew that we were going to have sellers here and sellers up here on both. So it was kind of a profit target one, profit target two type situation. Where we are pushing up right now, I would say, if anything, we're looking for kind of a top. This has been a lot of dollar weakness. But again, we tend to see weakness for the dollar coming in the European session. Really, kind of the first burst was at like 1:30, 2 o'clock in the morning. It pulled back and then another surge at 6:30 this morning. Where we are high now, I would say this could be the potential top. This could be the high for the day. It's about, again, it's Friday. If you're going to get into a Friday based trade, you got to be aware of, how much room do we have to move through the rest of the day. Um, I think right now, question is, can we get in the rest of today? I like the top here. I think right now it's early enough. We got enough time, enough movement. Again, if it's truly going to be the top in here, we should start to see it rolling back. And again, the U.S. session is when we tend to see that. What is my weather alert? Oh, still the smoke. All right, so we should see that turn and roll. Is there a zone here that we can use? Unfortunately, there's not. I like the basing here. We could be putting the new top in. And why this is important, if we kind of form a base here and start to push back to the downside, I think this could be a potential for a short on Sunday night, particularly seeing all this weakness. Now, if we run fibs in it, you can see that the 23 is really in 23 and the 50 not really line up. The 61.8 is. We should have a clear run, probably back down to 67.10. But right now, I don't actually need anything on there. I guess we could run it from the bottom, but that's quite a big distance. We're going to take this one off because the 78 is right there, so I don't need that. Let's run it just to see if it. Oops, not that one. If we're going to get anything, not concerned about it yet. All right, yeah. So that's what we're going to do right now. So is there a top in this one? Yes, I would believe so. I do think there is enough time if we can get a red, green, red, maybe on a 15-minute, even potentially on in the next hour and a half. I do think this could potentially be the top of the morning as we pull back again and kind of consolidate and have profit taking come in. I do like both these levels up top. Again, not a clear zone. We may be forming it right now for a Sunday night open or something, maybe pulling back down a little bit Sunday night and then whether entering it at the European Open or, getting it for the U.S. Open on Monday to kind of turn and be a concerted push to the downside. So do like where we are. Do think it will drop. Also yen also pushing higher. Now you can see we had some problems. We kind of pushed up and then based, and they came back and then went in, and then came back and it used it again, and it's forcing itself higher. I think also yen is also in a similar situation. Right now you can see that the 23 kind of lines up, but not real smooth. I think a lot of this one is going to depend more on the yen than the Aussie. Obviously, we're having yen weakness across the board with the comments that we've seen, but I do feel that there's probably some relief coming. I know I've been saying that, but I do feel like all of these are extended. The yen just can't go to infinity, right? Um, you know, is it bad? Um, it's great for like their exports, but is it good for them trying to bring resources and things like that in? Not so much. So there are pros and cons to it. I think we're starting to get to the more of the cons part than the pro part. Um, but does that mean that it's over and done? No, not yet. So again, looking for a top. Um, this zone we can remove. It's been chopped through enough. Let's see. This one looks like, yeah. This is not even the freshest of levels. You can see that it is a confirmation, but has it been here before? Yeah, yeah. And there's a little bit of a zone up there, the 61. So there's that. We do have some stuff there, and those are both right above this level. So looks like we have some selling right there. Hmm. Hmm. We have to get some help on this one. Uh, I'd like for this to kind of smash it, and finally break, and then close. Hmm. Yeah, I say look for a top on this one. If you're interested in taking this one for reversal, again, a little bit riskier than the Aussie dollar because again, it's purely a proxy play through the yen. But I think that again, there are sellers all in this entire area here. We know that we have sellers. Okay, is there a zone we can use? It's very difficult because it's a level on top of a level. It's been confirmed, but it's been there like 4 or 5 times. So if it comes in, I would wait for it leaving the zone as a number 3 entry, not a number 1 or number 2. Okay. I don't love it. Euro dollar. All right. So where euro dollar is right now. Yeah, this one's unfortunate. So we were talking about this on Wednesday. You can see the spike up and spike down that happened on Wednesday. Again, not an entry for the Harry Potter based trade. We were looking for it to go higher with a profit target of 107. You can see this morning it came up, and at 5 o'clock it started pulling its base. You're like, oh god, here it comes, here it comes, here it comes, and it did push up and it did close there. It just came back down again, and on a 15, it probably looks fine. Yeah, even on the 15, it is barely clearing the area, and then it pulls up and then kind of goes. So it's one of those ones that it's like, is it the ideal Harry Potter? No, unfortunately, it wasn't. Right, Harry Potter, we're looking for a base, a pop, kind of a mini base, right? At least one candle, and then a push back down to go higher. Oops, sorry. I don't know if I can delete just the bottom of it. You guys get the idea, right? You're looking for this, this, and this, right? Is what you're looking for. Unfortunately, it did do that, but on such a small basis, you probably didn't get into this one. It was this one was a small one. It was like a 10-ish for 30. You could have adjusted it slightly and said, okay, I'm gonna take it off of there, and maybe gotten the entry there. If you had done it, hold on, let's move it to the correct spot. Be there. That would have been difficult to get into. Again, we were looking for the break of this racetrack all the way back up into the upper levels, and it did. It went through the target on the top side, it hit it, pulled back. So it kind of did everything, but unfortunately, the entry was a little bit weird. Again, this is where, again, sometimes if you take an option based product, it gives you a little bit more help, and you would have got more help out of it. It rallied up, what, 50 pips? It's not like it's a massive amount, but yeah, so it's done now. And again, look at this. We'll use this, we'll just kind of keep this on there as an old level. will clean some of these up though from this week. We can pull this one off. We can run this from low to high, right? Turn on the 23. Yeah. So somebody probably got in this trade. They're like, yeah, look, I trade currencies. Pull these two off, but we'll leave that to know that that one went. Hmm, 7, hmm, like 30 pips. It's funny. This is another pair. The Aussie dollar was the same way. We're rallying up and we're looking for a potential short on Monday. Um, hmm. If we can close up there, and again, we know this is the 108 mark. If we can close up there, if we can kind of go, again, this level right here, I'd love to say this is a good short, but it's been a lot of time there. It hit it again and came up and hit it again. So we've definitely kind of pushed this one to the brink of breaking. And again, this would be hit one, two, three, if you count that as just one. We're kind of at the spot where we're kind of looking for this sucker to break. Uh, yeah, look for a break. There's not a Harry Potter possibility there, but I'm thinking, I mean, how much risk is that? Oops. Oh, we could probably get 10 out of that one too. I'm looking at something like this for next week. Something along those lines. 10 for 30. Right. Again, I don't know where it is, but again, for the break of next week, again, could be we open up high, pull back, and then hit it and go. I think that's a decent. Where's Monday kick in? Yeah, Monday 3:30. Monday 3:30 right there. That's set up right now for the European Open. Something along those lines. Right? I like where we are on this one. Is there a trade in here low? I mean, this is a 23. It did pop up again. So, again, I'd be very cautious with it. It is a level base, and we are hitting it right now. Being at 10 o'clock, is there a reversal out of this? No, I mean, right now on a traditional, US trading day when there's weakness, again, it's not even that much weakness there. You would see a kind of a rollback to the downside on this one as the dollar strength kind of rolled back in. But right now, dollar strength wise, we're not seeing too much for Friday. We're seeing the weakness. So, again, week. Take this one for short. I think we're okay with that. Euro pound. All right. So, Euro pound came all the way up. We grabbed this one on Monday. We did some basing yesterday. It looks like we pulled back, and actually, that's not too bad. Look at that. Let's just pull that one. We know that was good. Look at this level right here of basing with a slight touch. Again, this was yesterday morning. It's a nice little run to the downside. And again, confirmed zone, right? Base confirmed, and then drove up and then drove through. So, again, this would have been target. So we're out here. I think we can remove this now. Uh, this is the bigger zone. So let's pull that off. Track this down a little. Not concerned. 3 and the 50 are still on board. I was gonna say there was a little bit of a zone there, but I'm not worried about it for a Friday. So yeah, right now we're looking for this to continue to deteriorate. We look for it to come down to 85.35. That was the target earlier in the week. This one doesn't have too much more to go. It's got about 25 pips. Problem with this one is going to be it's Friday, right? It's Friday. They only got 2 hours left. Both these will close and it won't be that much of a proxy. I like where it is right now. Again, there was some data out of the ECB. The UK has been a little bit more quiet, so there hasn't been as much influence coming from that side of the channel. Um, but overall, I think the UK. I, I think the UK really can only go up. I don't think the UK. I think at this point, it's all baked in for the UK. Maybe they try to rise one more time, but I feel like they're a lot more limited. So I don't think there's any great unknowns about the UK. I think there's still a lot of great unknowns about the EU. So we'll see. But again, look for this to get hit first. Could it be a potential reversal next week? Yeah, it could. A few comments out of the ECB about how they need to continue raising, that rates are still out of control, still has room to run. Um, Again, all valid comments, all true. Um, you know, I think some of the data this week has actually, hurt them more than anything else. The headlines have been decent. I think the headlines have been good, but some of the actual data points I don't think have been the best and most supportive. So yeah, look for this to come down again. I don't know if we can get to this one before the end of today, but again, that's our target that we placed earlier in the week. Here again. Um, so Wednesday we were talking about having a potential somewhere in this area, and again we were sitting Wednesday at 10:30. Would have been right here, right? And we knew we had the 150 channel in there, and you can see the 150 channel is what was used. Came right back down and smashed it. Right now, I think this is good because we can box this off just a little bit more. Again, this is no different. This is using that same kind of old level here that was broken. 1, 2, 3, 4 is what broke, and now we have a defined 1, 2, 3, and actually 4 hit as well. That'll be a trade setup for next week. So we can take this guy off now. We can pull this back off. Let's run it the other direction. And again, look at that magic. The magic 150, right? Yeah, that's sitting there. Look, boonk, 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 right on the 150 mark. Let's see, what do we got going this way? The 23, which was hit. Hmm. I like where it is right now for the short. It is. It's kind of where the Aussie yen is. It's obviously high in the curve, and in area sellers. Um, Markets obviously. The European market's going to close in 2 hours. Um, Again, do we play the yen weakness on this one? I mean, I kind of like that candle formation there, right? I kind of like that candle formation. Not horrible. It's not the worst of trades, right? Taking this back down. It's got about 30 pips to go before it hits the 150 again. I know it can go past that 150. Hmm. It's there. It's okay. How many pips is it? Let's see. It could be over real quick. Yeah, it's only 13. It's not even that much. Yeah, it's not a bad trade. Again, if you're not out and if you need something, it's not the worst of trades out there. Again, Friday that we're having, and all it is just a little bit of a yen reversal, right? Pulling back down again. Yeah, it's got room to run to 50. So, it's all right. I like that. Again, most excited once this thing start to pull back down again and again. This could be a Sunday night piece. Starting to bring this back down into the 148.70ish range. I do like that we've really formed a true base and we keep hitting the same exact bottom on this one. This is 11 pips for 33. I'm a big fan of those. I like the range on that one. Uh, and this is looking for a break of approximately, and again, once we get close, we should be able to base in it again. But 149.59 pushing down to this 149.25ish range. Again, it's 11 for 33 right now. I would say use some caution. There's this kind of double bottom piece down here. You had this initial rally base punch, came back down into that same base and then a punch higher. So, 2 levels, right? 2 levels. Watch out for it. It's there. It's there. Um, yeah. So, I'll draw this one on here for you guys if you wanted to see it. Like I said, it's already kind of retested back to it once, but this is what it looks like range wise. And if you had taken it here, right, there's your base, red, green, red base came down, came back up and grabbed it. You can see it's actually already pushed past one time. So this is actually kind of the second attempt at it. Okay. Pound dollar. All right, so pound dollar is going higher. So we had talked about a Harry Potter trade looking for kind of a level of basing. The level of basing was formed right there, right? And you can see it pushed up. I don't think this one is done. I could be wrong though. I know it was really close. Yep, it is. It's out. It's right there. I knew we were really, really close. Easy Harry Potter. Again, we were talking about this. You can see that we had the green alert. The alert triggered, right? So the alert triggered, we were looking for a pullback, and again, near term base. This one maybe a little bit trickier too, and I'll explain it. There was two different levels in here, and again, once it confirmed off this lower level, we were like, yeah, we're looking for this one, right? Pull back, go to the level of basing, and it did. So yeah, that one's out, and again, 11 for 33. Gotta love those on a Friday morning, and like I said, I knew it was super super close, but it did eventually make it to the profit target. With that said, okay, with that said, under the same context that we're talking right now, right? We know. Let's see, let's pull this off. We know at this point, this was a nice little racetrack for him yesterday on Thursday. So, with that said, and again, it did push back down here. There's another hit, and again, a touch and another hit. This is also lining up for a short Harry Potter trade as well. Okay, and again, probably next week, it could potentially be right there at the European Open. We'll kind of see how this one looks when we get over there. But keep it on your radar. Keep that one on your radar, and it looks something along those lines. Oops. It always does like the last one. This and put it that way. All right. 125.30. Right. Hold on, we'll just go 125.31 just to make it a little easier there. All right. So easy trade this morning, 33 pips on there. And again, starting to falter back. Wouldn't be surprised if it comes down. This Harry Potter is more for next week. It's not a today thing. It just, there won't be enough time today for that to come down, kind of meet all the stuff that we're looking for, and then push back up again. So, yep. Wait for next week. Sunday night. Sunday night. European Open, I think, is probably when that one will hit. I think that's a decent time for it to roll over there. So, all right. Pound yen. So pound yen, biggest one on the board at 130 right now. Both percentage wise. Maybe not percentage wise. But again, biggest mover on the board. We're seeing pound yen across the board. We're seeing yen weakness, so it's not surprising that this one is higher. We're approaching the 176 mark. The 176 mark is just a little bit up here. We're about 50 pips from it. Not a bad trade. You can see that the area we talked about, the 140, 174.50. It made a few attempts. It kind of came up here and up again and up again and up again. And then what did it do? It started to hit it and then base below it. We're like, oh, that's a sign it's going to break. And it pushed down, went in and base. You're like, up, here it goes. And bam, there you go. There's your Harry Potter. Again, right? Base, pop, pull back, go. And that's exactly what we had right there. Okay. Right? Right there. Boom, 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 and up. So again, Harry Potter coming through the top side. Right now, I would say this is one that I don't think I'd mess with on a Friday afternoon. Obviously, pound closes in 2 hours. The yen obviously has more time today because it is a proxy. But for the most part, I would expect some profit taking to come in. It's moved a lot today so far. In 24 hours, it's done well. But if you think about where we were from the European Open, European Open is right here, actually. Actually, I guess the European Open is not as bad. It was yesterday morning. Again, this is a nice push, only a few pullbacks. People that were in this long trade, I think they're, at this point, they're waiting, right? They're like, okay, let's get some profit. Let's close it down over the weekend. And again, and this is one of those ones, close it down. If you like it, you can always reopen on a Monday and continue this one higher. And again, this is one of those ones that when we do get the intervention, finally from the BOJ, this will be a monstrous move. This will be a big one. All right. So just, again, use some caution with that one. All right. Where this one stops. Unfortunately, with this one being where it is, you can see. Right, been a long time. Right. I think if we go to a daily, we can see it. Yeah. On a daily basis. Okay. On a daily, this is where the free fall kind of came in. Right. There's a little bit of a sticking point at 179. Right. You can see there's a base in there. Yeah, this kind of level right here. Actually, 178.50. Right, 178.50. And this is on a daily chart. It was a drop, a little bit of base, a little kind of a pullback, and then boom, a nice explosion to the downside. So, whoops, take this, go horizontal line, we'll go right there. Uh, you can see what that looks like. You can see the distance. It looks like it's really, really far out there. But if you take what, Thursday at 9:30 to 10 to here, you can see we're pretty much 1.5 days from being at that high. Okay. Again, a lot of movement, but I think that's probably where we're heading at this point. But it is nice that we finally got out of this channel. We had drawn this channel, and again, it's nice that it finally worked through all of it. I think that's it's nice to have it finally clear, so we can pull these off. I can run that up as well. We do have a new low to high. Mm, Easy little Harry Potter. Now, hmm, this is the level I'm looking at. Again, 30-minute. There's a basing level right there, and we have kind of two front runs off of it. Right. Maybe more of a target than anything else from where we're at right now, but not a bad level. I'm not concerned about this one right here. It's pushed it all the way to the end. Uh, yeah, I'd like to find a top. Again, until we get up to that other level, I guess I deleted it right there. 178. I think this one has some room to run. Um, until the yen finally steps in, but I'm not going to try to put a top on that one. So look for that one to move. Dollar CAD. Dollar CAD, we were looking for kind of a pop down, and we did get the pop down and pop back up again, right? It did give it to us. It's pretty quick. We're deteriorating down to 133, and that's what we were looking for. Still going down a little bit. I think today, right now, again, we're seeing that. I would not be surprised if we find a bottom here and pulls off. Let's see. Look, CL is now green, so yeah, we're seeing CAD strength come in. And you may look at this like, what's going on with CAD? Why is it strengthening? It's not CAD, it's a dollar, right? This was all weak for the currency, but they did that surprise raise, which kind of made them a little bit more resilient. And right now we're seeing the dollar weakness kind of roll back into the market. Got the initial pop, and then the initial response back again was down. But now oil is actually getting involved. Oil is actually going higher. It is green from where it was before. So with oil moving in that direction, again, the CAD is going to be getting strength back again. So we'll see. We know their secret weapon now is forest fires. More forest fires. We can shut down New York City, right? Best thing they could have ever done, right? Send the smoke down to us, right? I feel like I'm wondering, and I don't know, maybe one of you guys knows it. I feel like at this point, I feel like when there was I'll say it wrong, but remember the Fuja whatever it was the power plant or whatever. Remember when the power plant, the nuclear reactor, whatever, it flooded, right? I felt like the story was like, oh, the particles and all the stuff from that are in the milk in California, right? You were getting it all coming to California, and now we're hearing about forest fires of things that are blowing back down to us from Canada. You don't hear much about, and again, I'm sure I'm not saying that it doesn't happen. I'm sure it absolutely happens. But I you know, wonder what the United States has done that has been overflowing. It's got to be like Mexico or something, right? It's got to be like forest fires in Arizona are messing up Mexico or something, right? You guys know how it works. It's got to be something, but you don't hear as much about that. So yeah, wonder what that one is. But anyway, look for 133. We talked about 133 being a great target. I think it's a great reversal point for next week when the dollar strength rolls back in. As far as trading it today on a Friday afternoon, there's nothing down there right now. I'd like to see a base and put in, but you can see there's a whole lot of news next week. I'd be looking for this one to turn and pop. Whoops, not that one. And I'd be looking for really any of these down here when we start the week. I'd like these to push off and come back up and maybe test the 23. The 23.6 would be 33.77. So it would be a 77 pip runner. Wouldn't be a bad kind of Sunday night trade. But right now, there's nothing for me today that I'd be willing after that pop. Again, news retracement and now oil jumping on board and accelerating. So I wonder if there was a has there been a news like no. I was looking to see if there was a news article or something that came in with like OPEC or something, but there's not. Dollar Swiss. Okay. Dollar Swiss took a huge drop down. And again, we knew this level wasn't going to be much. There wasn't a Harry Potter trade in there. So it's officially clear we can pass it. Um, Again, another zone that we had formed on the 61, 1, 2, and 3 had already broken. We expected that to break. And it did. It sliced right through. Whoops, I just moved it. Hold on. I was just trying to extend it. And, is it a Harry Potter? Kinda. If you're looking to kind of trade this one, again, it would be more kind of a retrace on what we dealt with now if you decided that, hey, listen, I feel like the dollar is going to, the dollar is going to do something. Um, there's a 1 to 3 sitting there. Again, is this the reversal point for the dollar today? It potentially could be. It's 10:15 now is when we would see the dollar kind of swing back into shape. It did base in the morning, pull back up, and again, is it a 23? I wouldn't be surprised if it was there either. Yeah, it's a 23 as well. So you got a couple different reasons why people are trying to sell off this one. The question is, did the 23s take their profit early, or are they still kind of holding on right now for some help? If it clears this, you can see we do have a lot of room to run to the top side. So again, if we do breach the top side of this, again, this could be more of a, not to say that it can't go all the way back up to the 50 today, but we need to get a little bit of assistance on this one to get this one to go higher. So, yeah, if you're short here, again, all it is following the dollar trend, although it's counter trend for this morning, but not necessarily a bad trade. But if it does breach the top and you want to take a long trade, great, have at it. Do not hold it over the weekend. The dollar Swiss is extremely risky over the weekend, but that's where we stand with the dollar Swiss. The yen, actually, look at the yen. The yen actually just came up to an area of basing as well. Here's the 173. I'm sorry, the 138.76. You can see pulling across. We did hit it this morning, actually late last night at about 7 o'clock, and then we rallied up. And this is, again, this is what the Swiss does, or the yen does. It'll come down and find these crazy zones, and it did. Look, barely breached this one, 1, 2, and 3, and all I did, guys, was extended, and you can see we hit it, rallied, came right back up to the area, the origin of that move. There's the origin of the move, and that's what we kind of turned off of this morning. So, right now, again, it did pull back up again. This looks very, very similar to the dollar Swiss. Um, Again, the dollar Swiss pulling up into that zone. It looks very similar here, where we had an area of basing. Right, you could use the whole top, I guess, if you really wanted to. Although with the chop back and forth, you would have to use this as the bottom. Looks very similar. Does it have room to run? Sure, sure it does. But is it like a super far one? Not really. Not really. Um, I don't know. Right now, it looks like dollar weakness is the name of the game. Let's see. What do we got Dixie wise? Um, yeah. Yeah. Dixie's struggling. I mean, it's going to get down to that 103.30. But it seems like anything above that, it's going to have a hard time stabilizing. So, yeah. The name of the game is dollar weakness today. You know, maybe we'll get a little assistance. Like I said, a news article, a headline, something like that would be great. But until we get that in there, there's nothing, right? I mean, obviously a zone in the Dixie right here. So, yeah, I think we push back down. So I think this one has more room to run. And again, maybe we'll get some yen strength rolling back in, and this continues to push down. That's kind of what we need on all the yen pairs right now, right? The yen, I think, is just again, it's just overly weak. It doesn't need to be, but it is. So, yeah, that's where we're at. Even Bitcoin's up a little bit. Although I can't, I'm shocked that these have not tanked even more right now, with Binance and Coinbase both getting sued. I think it's the first couple steps to getting them thing ripped out. Um, I'm shocked they're holding as much as they did. So we'll see. Let's go over to oil. All right, so oil. Look, we had the Harry Potter trade here. We talked about it coming down, and it did. It came down. Unfortunately, it didn't pause. So let's pull this guy off because it did not pause on us. It went all the way through to our profit target. We can take this down right now. Actually, let's run it more near term. Yeah. Let's wonder. Please declare this for next week. So there's what we got for the week. Hate to say this. I mean, here, here, and here, kind of all mirrored. Maybe a little bit higher here on this one. Oil's got room to run. Does oil stop here at the 50? I mean, I guess we could. The weird thing about this one here, that would put us closing above. That would make it green on the week, right? There's the close for the week, last week. And then we opened up really, really high because of the Saudi Arabia thing. And then boom, it's deteriorated all the way back down again. Could we potentially close right at the same spot? Again, great short trade. God, if you got this one at 75 and then sold it down here at 69, $6 trade, that's a great trade. Especially because we could potentially close right where we opened. Yeah, I don't think there's. I mean, again, it's 50 cents. I don't think it has. I don't think there's anything really left up in this zone. I think if we start to push forward, we can grind and just, again, the market closes a little bit early. I think we can get up there. Again, I was hoping we'd be red for the week, but I really feel like this may go up where people are like, "Oh yeah, we ended up green on the week after some crazy volatility." Right? Boom, boom, and maybe potentially no move. Fun one for oil. So yeah, and again, if this continues to go higher, oh now it's red again by a little bit. If this continues to go higher and grinds up to that level, we should see the dollar CAD continue to push the downside. So we'll see. A lot of this is going to have to do with the dollar. Natural gas. Yeah, we talked about having some chop. Look at all the chop in there. It missed the profit target by just a little tiny bit on that spike. Let's see what we got here. Let's pull this guy. Do I need this one? Nah, I'll pull that one right now. I would say again, under the same guise of oil going higher. Look, touch, touch. Will this continue to go up? I think it has the ability to. Can that go up to 233 where this one end for the week? Yeah, I mean there's the close of last week. Here's where we are now. So natural gas up for the week. So it's nice that it's closing down 2.58, but we're still up. So yeah, I think this one has the ability to go up to 230, 233, right? 233 is where I think this goes. The big question will be, is that going to be the end of the rally? Eh. Gold. All right, so look at the craziness that is gold. Nice spike up, nice spike down, back in the same spot. We had a Harry Potter here too. We talked about a break of 154. We got a break on Wednesday at 11:30, and then it just accelerated all the way back down to the bottom. The same buyers down here. So again, this trade is off. Pull that guy out. Let's see. Clear this one. Clear this one. Uh, 1970, 1979. I don't know. I doubt we're gonna move that much today, but I feel like that would be the next cycle up. Nice push up. I feel like that's what we're looking for. Yeah. Right now, I think we chop back and forth. I don't think we can get above 1972 per day unless there's a major unexpected headline. I think if we stay with this, the dollar's holding, et cetera, et cetera, et cetera. I think we pop up to that level. That's the next area. Sellers would be 1979, only because it's kind of extended at this point. Um, that's pretty decent too. Look at that, right over here. There's a nice little gold trade for next week. Coming through, breaking through 1956-ish level. Look for the base. Look for the drop, pull back, and go. Again, this is not dead on, but a little bit of his own there. But again, I'm 15 minutes, so it's going to look a little bit strange. But I saw this, right? The rally, the base, the pop, front run, pop, 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 pop. Again, signifying there's buyers, but those buyers could be pretty much gone at this point. So yeah, nice little run back down. So again, there's a nice little gold setup for next week. But yeah, I like there and I like there. 1979 and 1956 are the two levels that I'm liking for gold for shorts. Silver, high O silver, it's popping, it's popping. And again, we're beyond this, so we are again. We know we got a little bit of a hiccup at 124.61. Uh, right now, we know we don't really have a ton major sellers sitting on this one. So yeah, we'll see where the top comes in. Up 0.95, almost 1% today. That's a good move for silver. Kind of the same thinking on this one when silver turns and finally does roll. Look at this level right here. Right? Base, 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 base. Finally pop, but look what's behind it on a 30-minute. So again, we'll take this level and just throw it here. Get this melting down. It's good. Look at that. This is a nice one too. Again, that's where your profit target should be, right there. So that's a decent. Get that dead on. Whew. Boy's got some skills. Yeah. So gold and silver, both are the same thing. When the price finally does stop, turn, and roll back to the downside, we have two different levels right there that, again, we've had basing in the past. We've had some confirmations coming in that have a racetrack behind them. So, again, maybe Sunday night, gold and silver, we have some decent trades in there for those. If you guys are unfamiliar with playing those. Again, nice little setups on those. Let's see what we got for Apple. Apple rallying nice. Tesla still going. Oh, my God. Speaking of Tesla, guys. Speaking of Tesla, when I was in, I had to go drop somebody off. Was it yesterday? They mentioned the Cybertruck. I almost wrecked the car. I was like, what? They're like, well, and then they said Tesla was rallying again, and they said Cybertruck. And I was like, what? Like, I was only half paying attention. I could not believe that they said it. That they said that there's, you know, I, I thought it was done. It was dead in the water, but they mentioned they were excited about the Cybertruck. I was like, what? I can't believe that. The Cybertruck? Really? But Tesla again, obviously, is benefiting right now from getting the basically the deal with Ford and then the deal with Chevy. So I didn't buy one. No, nope. I'll buy a go kart, Ernest, and slap some aluminum foil on it before I would buy one of those. No. Nope. Definitely not a Cybertruck guy. There are some Teslas that are not bad, but if I'm gonna spend, I don't know. I know that there's the cheap electric ones out there, but like even the quote cheap electric ones, besides the Kia, which actually is not horrible. I drove next to one the other day. We have a couple of them in Annapolis. Besides the EV6 or whatever it is, I think that one's cheap. I think it starts at like 35 or 45, but like once you get the options on it, you're up in the 55 range. Um, I don't know. I like the trucks better. In all honesty, I do like the trucks. I think I like the Chevy. The Chevy truck is the Chevy electric truck. I like that one. I think that was my favorite. I like the H2, also the electric H2. I'm a big fan of that one also. I do like that one, but they're impossible to get. The 0 to 60 in 3 seconds in an H2 is definitely appealing. And like if I wanted a spaceship, I'd buy the H2. I would not buy the Cybertruck. So again, golf cart, golf cart with tinfoil wrapped around it, Cybertruck. Right. That's how I'm looking at it right now. So, all right, let's check the indices. Maybe there was some decent moves. Again, dropping like it should. Dollar trying to struggle back down to that 103 number. Oh crap! Now there's nothing. It's already gone. Already gone. 6:30. Yeah. Look, 8:30, 9. There was no fall in this one. We were pushing after the big gap. We were pushing forward. So yeah, unfortunately, it's just the swap. Yeah, I hate these contract swaps. Yeah. So yeah, unfortunately, no pullback there. It was already off to the races. Same thing. 9:30 candles right here. We're already at highs. No pullbacks. Off to the races. YM maybe. Nope. There's an early play in there, right? Right there. There's an early play in it. 5:30, 6:30, or what is that one? Yeah, unfortunately, the 9:30 candle's all over here. It was already off to the races. Too late. And then Russell. Ooh, look at the Russell there. Anything in Russell? 8:30, 9:15, 9:30. Actually, could you? They're actually, and again, this is how this one works. Does it to us every time, right? If there's absolutely nothing in ESNQYM, there tends to be one in Russell. There's your Russell play. There's your 930 candle, right? Again, we're looking for a confirmed level. Once it came up to here, looking to the left, this is the next confirmed zone above. So there's your confirmed zone. Question is, did it get to the 1 to 3? Is it going to be the savior yet again? 2.9. There's 3.04. And you can see it went past. So, and again, I even have added risk in here. I even have added risk in there because this is in front of that zone. So, um, there's where the actual zone starts. Right there, it is. That's 3.19, and you can see it's still past. So yeah. So again, following the rules again. If ES, NQ, YM are all junk, which again for opening prints, it was already too far gone, already too far gone, already too far gone. Leave it up to Russell to not only put a short trade in, but to be the one guy that does it. It's amazing how that works out, right? Absolutely amazing. Yep, 3 junkies, and it's like, oh, there's got to be a Russell trade. Got to be a Russell trade, and there was. And it's good. And it's already out, and it's already retraced. So, yeah, at this point, you probably could have taken the Russell long off the bottom side, right? There's the bottom side, and yeah, it didn't get stopped out. So, yeah, there's your overnight confirmation at 8:15 with a 3:15 in the morning to the top side. And, yeah, so guess you could have taken Russell either direction if you wanted to. So, yeah, fun, fun, fun. So, yeah, anyway, weird Friday. Again, not getting a lot of movement. I think next week is going to be definitely a bigger week with movement. With all the CPI data coming in, with the FOMC statement, everybody can, theory craft right now, tinfoil helmet, everything that they want right now. One person will say, "Hey, they're gonna pause. This is why." Everybody's gonna read the article right now, or they're gonna raise it. This is why they're doing a double raise. You know, I think right now, anybody that says they're going to pause, this is why. It's an easy like. It's easy clickbait right now. So I still think if they again, maybe they do the 5.25. I still feel like where we are right now with inflation, we need to go one more before we pause. I'm not a Fed governor. Again, I our interest rate would be high right now if I was a Fed governor. But yeah, we'll see. I think the big thing over here is going to be the CPI and the core data. Look, the core CPI again not changing on a monthly basis. So yeah, it's called entrenching. So again, the 4.2 is nice, but again, another month in a row, it's not changing. So we'll see. All right, let's go ahead and do this drawing and then get out of here. So 4 of you in today, right? And Ernest just talked to me. Ernest got really excited. He's out ordering his truck. That's what it is. He's out ordering his truck. He heard Cybertruck and he's like, "Oh yeah, I forgot that I put money on that." Right? Um, the old Cybertruck. Right? I couldn't believe it. I was completely in shock when they said it. I was like, "Did they just say Cybertruck? What?" And they're excited about the Cybertruck and everything it can do. I'm like, "What? Are you serious?" Yeah, yeah. So, all right, at 6:30, we shut this one down in 4, 3, 2, 1. Bam, there we go. All right, winner of today's drawing to end out the week. Winner is. Ooh. I didn't say anybody. Hey, I didn't say a single person's name. Just throwing it out there. Did not say a single person's name. And Debbie took that one again. Um, let's see. Monday, Debbie. Tuesday, Ernest. Wednesday, Neuro. And then Debbie took it today. So wow. Yeah, Debbie, you had the back to back earlier. You were the back to back here, and then Ernest took you to the Neuro. Then yeah. All right. So yeah. So Debbie gets it today. Look at that, Debbie. Whew. Debbie, is all the smoke on there? We've had ours is like we've had I don't know. We're supposed to have a front that comes in. It was really gross yesterday. Today it's supposedly not as bad. They're like, oh, we've dropped from 180 parts per million down to 120, and now it's we can definitely have it. Is it great? No. Could I play in it? No. My head is killing me. But I guess it's considered quote safe enough for the kids, and I'm kind of like, is it? Is it safe enough, or is the money important? So, yeah. Yeah, smoke is better. Yeah, it's not as bad. I'm just worried now, Debbie. Like if it smelled like, burnt, you know, analogy one of my parents said is like it smells like somebody threw plastic bottles in a forest fire, right? That's what it kind of smelled like. That's what it kind of like stunk of. I'm kind of wondering like is there going to be like higher rates of, are they going to uncover and 15 years, right? Like after 9/11, how all of a sudden all the all the cancer came up because of all the debris, the dust. Kind of like, hmm, hmm, like because there's so many chemicals in it, is like, oh God, are we at risk of like higher levels of lung cancer now? Because for 4 days we breathe in things that they're like, it's unhealthy, stay in the house. So yeah, ugh, yucky, right? Bad stuff. Anyway, on that, I'm out of here. You guys have a great one. Hopefully, I survive the tournament this weekend. And I will catch you guys on Monday morning, 9:30 Eastern Standard Time. Again, do some homework this week. Next week is a big U.S. week, right? Big U.S. week, CPI, PPI, Fed funds, an official pause, right? Some unemployment rates out there. So a lot of stuff going on. Do your homework this weekend. Make sure you're ready for some of those longer term trades for next week. All right. With that, I'm out of here. Have a great one. Thank you for joining me today, and I'll catch you guys on Monday. Take care.